so I can go. Welcome back, everyone. This is Karen BK. I'm Navajo, and I'm a student at IBC, and we're going to pass it on to Cece.
Oh my goodness. You're such a weirdo. I'm Cece, and just introduce, I'm a senior at Indian Bible College, Apache from the Yavapai Apache Nation in the Verde Valley of Arizona. So, yeah.
Hello, my name is Josiah, and I'm Navajo. I'm a sophomore at IBC. And yeah, here you go.
Well, my name is Giovanna. I'm a freshman, a returning freshman at IBC. So, yep, that's me.
Well, I have a question for you guys today. Hey, well, I'm just wondering, how are you guys doing right now?
My legs hurt. They really do. I've been walking everywhere today and taking the bus like a peasant. But here we are. But it was a nice day. I'm okay.
Nice.
Pretty chill.
I feel really good. Yeah, got a full 10 hours of sleep. Woke up feeling rested, had a good breakfast. Yeah, feeling great.
Nice.
I'm pretty good. Woke up from a nap like 2 seconds ago. So, we're ready to go. Real high energy.
That's cool.
as
That's cool.
always.
And what about your first week of school? How was that?
I only have 3 classes, so it was really kind of slow. But those 3 classes, well, I've had 2 of them. I haven't had piano yet. But I have Christ and Culture and Crisis Counseling, so it's going pretty cool. They're both very insightful. Can't wait to. I'm beginning my senior year. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, my first week has gone incredibly well. All my classes are so much deeper than they were the first year, and I'm really enjoying it. Being able to focus on things that I want to focus on and not just have like the groundwork of Christianity. So it's going really great.
Mine was pretty good. It was really busy. I have a lot of classes. It was really crazy. I found out one class is a minute before the next, so you kind of run to the next classroom, so it's okay. I'm actually learning how to study the Bible. That's crazy. Who knew that was a thing? Yeah, so it's nice. Gonna actually learn basics, because, churches.
Well, I appreciate you all for sharing. So you're probably all wondering why I called you here today. So you all served at a camp, including myself, at a camp called Broken Arrow Bible Ranch in CC. Could you explain to us what that is?
Yeah, man, I can explain what it is. So, Broken Arrow Bible Ranch is a summer Bible camp in Vanderwagen, New Mexico, which is like 20 minutes south of Gallup. It's really cool. Like, there's 4 weeks of juniors, which is 8 to 12-year-olds, and three teen weeks, which are 13 to 19-year-olds. And it's just weeks. It's just 8 consecutive weeks of them having fun, getting to know Jesus a little bit more, and us hanging out with them, really. That's pretty much it. So, it's just, it's a home away from home. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Cece, for the awesome intro. Okay, well, looking back at your summer, what was like a highlight of Broken Arrow Bible Ranch for you guys?
So biggest highlight in my summer was, so IBC, we have this thing called CSA, and we have our whole ministries and all that we go to. And mine happens to be at this church, Grand Falls, and I did the Sunday school there for the little ones. And I have two little ones. One of them, his name is Colton. One of them, his name is Coulter. Colton came to camp, and it was the second week of camp. And come Thursday, he, after skit night, after the serious skits, and we give the invitation for them to stay behind and talk to someone. I was able to stay behind and talk to him, and he gave his life to Christ. Yeah. So the whole, my CSA led into Broken Arrow, and it was just like, yeah. So now I get to go back and disciple him.
What was his name?
His name is Colton.
Shout out to Colton.
But yeah, that was my highlight.
I had too much fun with this.
Wow, that's a really good highlight. I like that highlight. I think for me, well, going to camp this summer to Broken Arrow was very last minute and very not planned. I did not plan to go, but God had other plans for me. And he's just like, well, we're going. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I think my highlight was literally figuring out why God had called me there. And to be honest, it was more of being the support for the younger leaders. And so, because my proudest moment all summer was during orientation when you, Josh Salazar, Joel Hillis, I had to say Josh Salazar because we have so many Joshes, but Saya, who else was there? Kai, all of you took the lead, and pretty much me, Nick, Haley, Bo, and Becca, we kind of stood back. Well, those of us that were there at orientation, we kind of took a step back and we followed your lead because we knew we needed to support you. And I think that was my purpose for going, because we were older and we knew how things would go. So we knew you would have struggles. And I think seeing those struggles and you guys coming to us in various different forms, I think was my highlight of that summer. That and the Platero baby. That baby is just so cute. He brought me joy for the moments I was just not happy. So he literally brought tears to my eyes. But I think those were my highlights from the summer.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Alrighty then. Okay, well, for me, it's actually really hard to narrow it down. Because each week I had really good connections with at least one of my campers, if not more of them. So there's different connections I had. Like ones that I could joke around with them and they took my humor and they didn't get offended, which was nice. Or a camper shocking me with her humor, like, oh my gosh, is that a race joke for you? I don't know if that's allowed. It was really scary. Just, sometimes they went beyond what I thought they would. And like junior weeks even, like one camper, so we pour the cereal into like the large container of water or whatever is left on the table, so we pour whatever leftover cereal is in there, and my camper's like, it's like Camp Boba. I'm like, no, it's not. So anyway, I joke about that all the time now because it's funny. So yeah, it's just my campers and the connections I could have with them, deep ones or funny ones. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, my highlight is also very similar to yours, Josiah. I had a lot of campers who came to Christ, and they not just came to Christ, but they also deepened their faith in the Lord. And I think it really showed. We're going to get to this later, but I'll answer first about a challenge. I had a very hard summer sometimes because my challenge was not really, not feeling, unified at times, not only with like other people, but with myself and the Lord. So that was really hard. But my highlight showed me like, hey, you know what? Despite your challenges, you really showed that you came here for the right reasons. And the Lord blessed me. It was really good. It was awesome. So going on to the next thing, what would you say was a challenge from your summer?
I feel like my challenge was definitely the summer staff this summer. I mean, I love my campers, and all of them had their own quirkiness, and I wouldn't say they were a challenge for me, but more of a blessing than anything. I knew that spending time with them was my purpose for there, and of course spending time with the summer staff was my purpose there, but it was just sometimes really hard to hang out with you guys. I knew that we would see each other in the fall, so I was like, they got it. But just a whole collective thing. Even though I was proud of you guys, sometimes it's just that relationship part and relating to you guys. It's knowing, like that idea, like a mom, we tell you, we're like, don't do this. Why? It'll lead to that, but you go and do it. And we're like, okay. So I was like, well, hey man, if you want to do it, go. I'll let you learn. So it was just like a constant battle with that. I was battling not controlling you guys and letting you guys do what you needed to do so that God can mold you the way he can mold you. And yes, it was a challenge for me because I'm like that mom sometimes. I'm just like, don't do it. And it just kind of turned into that. But I think it even magnified down to me and my friend group, like with Becca and with Haley and Adriana and definitely with Bo. It was just a big challenge being apart from them, but all of us wanting to be together, but not knowing how to relate to each other anymore. Because we're growing up, we're dispersing. God is calling us to different spots, and a part of us doesn't want that to happen, but it was definitely, it felt awkward hanging out with them sometimes, except for Haley. I don't know what's up with Haley, but things felt cut off. So it was a big challenge because we were struggling with each other. And I think that was our big challenge, was learning that we are growing in different ways and God is leading us in different paths. Some of us cross more paths than others. Like, we're going to meet each other down the road. But yeah. And then definitely with Bo, because she's my best friend, and like, to not be that pillar, but the fact that she has more pillars in her life, I think that was that envy and that jealousy that kind of crept into my heart. And I'm like, no. Because by the end of the summer, I was just like, I was okay with it. I was okay with the idea of someone else being her restart person. I was okay with her going to someone else. Because I was like, yes. Because I know God is using that and using that for her. Because I want her to grow in her socialness, if that makes sense. So there was the feelings in my heart that were a challenge, but also coming to terms with them and understanding that it's okay, that I have to let God be in control of that too. So, yeah.
Snaps. Snaps.
I'll be the man. Name. Okay. Anyway. Challenges. Serious stuff. For me, I mean, the summer can be challenging in many ways, just because you're exhausted most of the time. Most of the time, you're exhausted the entire time. But one challenge in particular came during week 5. Yeah, I had a really hard, well, not a hard camper. She wasn't hard to deal with. It was a hard talk that I had with her. Something that she revealed to me that happened to her. And it was a junior week, so I don't know. Obviously, it should never happen to anyone, but for it to be a junior week girl, it really sucked because, I wanted, naturally, like Cece, I want to be the mother. I want to protect her. I was legitimately tempted to ask her if she would stay in the lodge if I didn't know if she had a safe place to go back home, because yeah, I didn't know where she was going back home to, and what she was, like, if it would ever happen again. So, that was a challenge, because after that, it was also a challenge to give it to God, because, well, how dare you let this happen, because, why not blame God on things that are not his fault? Because, that's we're human. So it's a challenge giving it to God completely and allowing other people to come in and help me with that and to comfort me. People like Cece who have been through the same thing in her years of camp and been through campers who, in her year, Cece, who is experienced at camp, and even like the head staff, they're there for me. Even the moment like my camper had told me things that like, oh, I can't leave this alone. I need to get someone involved in this. It was a challenge the few weeks after that because it was affecting me a lot, I guess. Because, she goes home, but you can't go home with her, and you can't keep her safe, and you can't see her every day and make sure that she's okay. So you have to trust God with taking her home and being her protection and being her refuge and solitude when you can't be that for her. And, okay, Lord. So, always a challenge to release control and give it to God, because let go and let God. Yeah.
Live, laugh, love.
Well, mine is vastly different from your guys's, but I guess my biggest struggle was because for 8 weeks you do basically the same thing over and over and over again. You can fall into the cycle of doing the same thing over and over again and really having no purpose behind what you're doing and not really trying anymore because it's so, I guess, mechanical. I remember I caught myself saying the same, doing the same devotion, doing the same speech about the gospel, and not really doing much to change it based on my camper's understanding. I remember doing the same activities. I remember doing just all the same things and really losing, I guess, the passion for it somewhere along the lines because it got so mechanical. It almost felt mechanical. So it was hard to rethink and have purpose in the things I did instead of just doing it over and over and over again, turning my brain off and not really putting myself into it like I should. So yeah, it's something I struggled with during the summer. So
Nice.
yeah.
Thank you all for sharing. I appreciate your honesty and your openness. You are valued here. So another question would be, what did God teach you this summer? Take your time.
I guess I'll go first. Like a woman. Anyway. Definitely. I mean, I feel like I said it a lot already, and it's that control aspect of wanting to be God for them or for staff. Like after a while, pride tends to grip your heart. It's like, I've done this. I know what I'm doing. Don't talk down to me because I know what I'm doing. But we're also told with that mindset from permanent staff, it's just we veterans, to be honest, we're held to a higher standard, especially those of us who are older, older. And we would see Dino, or sometimes Steve would come to talk to me, or even Nanette would come and talk to me, and they would want my opinion on things. And sometimes your heart can really hold on to it. It's oh yeah, they came to me because I know what I'm doing. And I was half the time, to be honest, I don't, and I'm really tired and I just want to stop and go take a nap and fall asleep for 5 hours because it's a lot of work. But it's even that, I think, the idea of control. I wanted to be in control of the decisions that I was making. I wanted to be in control of everyone else and say, you should do this and not do that. Because I think the years of experience has there isn't something new under the sun anymore, even though there always is. Like I'll have a different camper every single time, but we come with the idea of like, because it's consistent, we know what to expect and we're prepared. But sometimes it's not always like that. And we want to try different routes. And it's definitely okay. Definitely do that. Be the counselor that you can be. Because there's not going to be another counselor CC. There's not going to be another counselor Karen. There's not going to be another counselor Gianna or Josiah or Bo or a counselor Holly or a counselor Becca. There's not going to be another one of those because we're us. We're different. But that idea is that I need to remember God is always constant. And I think because the verses that I had on my heart the entire summer, and I still kind of do, is Numbers 23:19. And it says, God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? We know that God is constant. God is in control. God is faithful. And I need to learn to do that, to follow his character. How can I be faithful? By John 15, abiding in him, abiding in his vine, abiding in the source. And sometimes I would catch myself not doing that. And those are the moments where I struggled with staff. It was those moments. I was just like, Lord, what do I do? And he's like, stick with me. I'm like, okay. So then once I noticed the pattern of me not abiding, I think it was week 6. Week 6 was my best week. Not because I had the best campers, not because I had campers that I had before, or I had the best wrangler that week. It was because I felt like I put in my best effort for God. That was the week I had put in more effort and gotten so much more from my campers because I invested the right amount, because by the end of the week I was so tired. And then it was just a crazy weekend because we all know what happened with the whole neighbor thief that we had. And so it was just crazy. And it's just like, okay, God, I see what I need to do, but I don't want it to just stop here. And God's like, it doesn't have to stop here. I'm like, okay. So now it's followed me into the semester. It's followed me. And it's just that. It's like, I'm not in control. God is in control. And I think it's a repeated learning. And it was my choice not to grow. And so when I chose to invest and I chose to let my campers teach me, let my mentor pour into me, I grew. So, yeah.
Gianna will go.
Okay. What did I learn? I think this was a summer where God deepened my faith and my trust in him, because my faith and my trust in him were very, very challenged. Like I said, week 5, I had that camper, and because of that, I questioned God's, not his sovereignty, but I questioned his ability to keep us safe, even when humans make their own choices. And, no matter what, someone could choose to do something mean, someone could choose to do something bad, obviously, and they do all the time. So I questioned his want to keep us safe. I questioned even his love for me and that camper and other campers. Like, if you can't keep this one person safe, or you can't keep the other campers that have had weeks before, or if they also had struggles that, I will never forget. So it's a lot of deepening my trust and my faith in him, because before, years back in the emo days, I would lose my trust in him. I wouldn't necessarily not believe in him. I wouldn't completely just like, well, atheism, let's go. It was more of like, I don't trust you, and I'm not gonna go to you. And this summer he challenged me in that, and was like, all right, let's try this again. Let's see if you do it this time. Let's see if you can trust me through this time. Will you go to me? Will you abide in me? Can you continue to let me pour into you and let others pour into you? Will you go to others for help, but come to me for your everything. And so yeah, that was challenged, and I think I'm learning still how to, because it's a continuous process. So yeah.
Oh, I guess what I learned, the first teen week we had a camper come, and his name was Tony. And basically this camper's been coming for basically his whole life, ever since he was 8. And I believe he ages out. This was his last year he could be here. And what I learned is that I heard so much stories from Nick, who was head counselor at the time, just saying, yeah, he's going to be a handful. And even our program director, Ty, said, yeah, he's going to be a handful. And basically everyone was just saying, yeah, he's going to be a handful, so be careful. So I dedicated that week to lots of prayer, every moment I could, and just asking God, God, why this week? I was having the previous week was when Colton got saved, so it was hard to transition from such a high to such a big obstacle. And I decided to treat it as if everything he did in the past didn't exist, but to give him a start and to really try to see him through the eyes of Jesus and just see that he's lost and come down to his level where he could be, and do everything I could to possibly relate to him. And at the end of the week, I just kept praying earnestly almost every day and every night, and every time it would pop into my mind that he would, that something would click in his brain about who God is. And at the end of the week, he finally opened up a bit that he's been coming here so long, and he just put on this facade of being really tough and not letting anyone get to him or stuff like that. Tough guy, basically. And he just opened up, poured his heart out, and said he wants to change, like, for real. So I've been keeping in contact with him. And at the end of the week, I just broke down and said, there's a saying we have at Broken Arrow, it's much prayer, much power. And I guess being faithful to pray for him really taught me the power of prayer from week 3. So whenever I had a difficult camper or a difficult cabin from that point on, I really learned to pray earnestly and be diligent in prayer, because it's not like God's not listening to me. So, yeah, that's what I learned.
Nice. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay, so I guess to try and come to an end, I'll share one more thing, and I guess I have to share what I learned. The Lord really taught me 2 very big things this summer, and it was knowing that I have the choice in how I can handle a conflict. And my summer was full of conflicts. It's terrible. But like the Lord really showed me, like, Karen, you can choose how to respond, whether that's in a fleshly or godly way. And I didn't choose the godly way all the time. And it was really hard to try and choose the godly way to respond. And so he really taught me that, and I think that was really preparing me for the position I have now at IBC as an RA, because I don't like conflict. Conflict is hard and it sucks, but I know it's necessary. We want unity within a community. So yeah. And the last thing there's a lot of things God taught me, but one of the things that stood out is, am I truly doing everything for the Lord? Am I choosing to serve someone because I love the Lord? Or am I choosing to be here on the Hope team because I love the Lord? Or am I doing it for myself? and it's a good evaluation for me because I self-evaluate a lot. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it is really good because I'm allowing the Lord to let change happen and transformation happen within me. So yeah, good stuff. We're gonna open the floor to whatever you guys want to talk about. It can be funny. It can be hardcore serious. It could be a funny story. I like stories. I tell a lot of stories. So, yeah. It could be anything. Like, do you like peanut butter on your toast? Do you like jam on your toast? Oh, what about your least and most favorite camp food?
Least and most favorite.
Strong opinions.
Okay, hold on. Let's make a shout out to Jimmy Hillis because
Yeah, Jimmy!
she made our food so good.
Oh my
When
gosh,
she
so much better.
she spiced up the spaghetti, she spiced up the pizza. I have a feeling she just added oregano, but but Jimmy is such a good cook. So, yeah, food. I think my least favorite food at camp is Wednesday. I do not like Thursday lunch. I said Wednesday because before we used to have picnic on Wednesday, but now that's on Thursday because we have a new food truck. Anyway, or supply truck. I do not like hot dogs. I have to be starving in order to eat them. I think I ate them once, but I do not like hot dogs. And it's just sad. They just come out so sad. It's so gross. It's nasty. It is though. It's all shriveled and sad. It's gross. Yeah, you just eat all the grapes and the bags of chips and that's it. But my favorite camp food, cold cuts. We only have them on teen weeks, but cold cuts are so good because it's bread. One is bread, fresh homemade bread. It's so good. They're these big rolls too. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and then you know we have like the turkey and the ham, and then just anything to put the sandwich together. So yeah, but I do have a funny story that goes with not cold cuts, but it was that one day when we have chips with our food. I can't remember what meal it was. Even though we should know this by now. I think they switched it up on us a couple of times, so I got really confused. I was like, no, we need order. I don't like it when we switch it up. But one of my campers, so I don't know if you guys know, hold on, I won't throw her under the bus. No, this other person. Anyway, so I know somebody who really, really likes to open up her hot Cheetos upside down. And she like shakes it and then she opens it. And apparently it's hotter and it tastes good. But I was like, it's just a bag of chips.
No, all the flavors at the bottom. I see her logic.
See, so I caught myself, like, I've hung out with her so much that I catch on to the habit. I shake my chips and then I open the bottom and I eat it. And so I did that and I was just shaking my chips. And one of my campers from week 5, she was like, Cece, are you one of those people that opens up their bags of chips from the bottom? And I'm like, I don't do it all the time, but I do it sometimes. And I was like, specifically for hot Cheetos. And she's like, it's so annoying. Why do you do that? And I'm like, why? Why are you coming at me about a bag of chips? And she's like, it's just really annoying. And like, okay, so I have my campers that week. I had two res girls, little chidgy girls. They're so cute. And then I have Hayden, who was her cousin, who was pretty cool. She wanted to annoy her, so she joined the party. And then I can't remember who the other girl was. I had 5, but by the end of the meal, I opened up my chips upside down. She's like, Cece, you've become a menace to society. And I'm like, okay. But then my two little res girls did it, and they're like, and then everybody did it. And by the end, she didn't want to be left out, so she opened her chips upside down. I was just like, see, it's not that bad. So, but yeah, there's a story for you.
Nice. Josiah Gianna. Food.
Least favorite food.
It always used to be the hot dogs, but this year is the pizza. It was just so. I don't even know what it was. It was just paper with some sauce and some form of meat. And I'm like, why? Why do we have to do this? So I think that was the only food like I couldn't stand anymore. I was able to endure the food all year, all summer. But this summer, like, the only thing I put down was the pizza. Like, no more. I rebelled. And yeah, it was the pizza. But my favorite, yeah, it's the sandwich day. Like Cold Cuts, apparently. It's like Subway, but at camp. And yes, it's so good. Because then they had watermelon. Oh my gosh. The campers always took all the watermelon, but when I could, I was just like, get it all, salt it. It's so good. So, yeah. It's just freaking pizza.
For me, I hate cereal day. It's just Thursday is just malnutrition all the way around. You have cereal, then you have hot dogs, and you have pizza. It's a bad combo. Because you eat it and then you crash in chapel after breakfast, and you're just like, so yeah. But I think a favorite would have to be French toast. I don't know. I love French toast. Especially when you get sausage and you put the syrup on it. It's so good.
And they had Texas toast this summer.
Oh my
They
gosh.
had proper like French
Yes.
toast. We didn't have the sad
It was
little
like
white
boys.
Wonder Bread.
Exactly.
We didn't have the Wonder Bread loaf anymore. We had Texas
It
toast.
was full on thick boys, half inch. Bam.
It's funny how like simple things like that make us very
Yes.
happy.
Oh my gosh. It was bougie.
When they were good.
Oh yeah.
The, the gravy, like Yum Gravy.
Get out of here.
No.
No. Don't listen to Young Gravy, but know that he's a good rapper. Okay, I feel like my favorite would have to be French toast. The French toast or the sandwiches. I'm a big fan of sandwiches, like Subway, Jimmy John's. It's good stuff. But spaghetti. I hate spaghetti. It was every Monday. It's like, why? Why do we need spaghetti? There's only one person who has made good spaghetti, and it's Fishy. I don't know if you guys know Fishy, but
I got it once this summer.
it was just so good. It's so spicy. It's a nice tang. Then you throw on some chili peppers. It makes it. Yeah.
Pro tip. I don't know who taught me this. No, I do know. Okay, it's really, really weird, and I will never do this outside of camp. But with camp spaghetti and with camp ranch, you put the ranch in the freaking spaghetti, and it seems so horrible. Like, it shouldn't work. I'm like, freaking white people. But
Disclaimer: Gianna is white.
It was the only thing that made it doable. And like, I don't mind this. It's weird. I never tasted the ranch. They just made it creamy and made it less. I don't know how else to explain camp food other than just paper. It's just flavorless and weird and yeah, no effort in it. But yes, ranch. They put a lot of effort into it, but it's just the flavor. The flavor's missing. So yeah.
No one likes you right now.
Listen.
Okay. Involving ranch, the president of IBC taught me this trick. He said he was single throughout college, so he knew like all types of ways to make ramen. So I worked with like a youth group, and he was leading it at the time. So we were having a meeting, and I got to his family's house early, and they were eating this chicken noodle soup. And know that I hate chicken noodle soup. Not chicken noodle soup, chicken flavored noodles, like ramen. I don't like ramen. It's disgusting. Don't eat it. So he had chicken noodles, and he said, "Karen, don't tell anyone." So Jason, I'm sorry if you're listening. It's the ranch. It's got the juice. He tosses ranch in his noodles, and I'm like, I was very skeptical at first. I'm like, I don't want to eat that. That looks gross. But I was so hungry. I didn't eat that day. So I gave in. I got a bowl, and it was the best thing I've ever eaten. It was so good. It's just so good. Okay. Fun story. Well, that'll be the end of the Hope Team's Res Roots podcast. So yeah,
Wow.
thanks you all for listening, and that's it. Good job.
Abu.